We've been hearing as well and continuing to get remarks via the wires from the UK. New Chancellor of the Exchequer, Hammonds, has been speaking to a number of media outlets, and Reuters picking up these themes because, of course, we've got Simon Meyer from FutureYou with me in studio with Tony Farnham from Patterson's. Let's just go through this list, gentlemen, to put out some strands of thought which will have a bearing on, the way your clients do business as much as the strength or otherwise of that economy in weeks and months to come. Let's try to get to a conclusion as soon as possible with the EU. This is the new Chancellor talking. He's talking about speed rather than a slow and steady negotiation, which is in some ways surprising, given that we'd thought much. I mean, everything's surprising in this febrile environment. We had thought David Cameron would be there till September. No, he went early. The party got itself into gear sooner than later. What do you make of that, though, that particular takeout?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of politicians at this stage talking in abstract.
Okay.
And that's the issue. I think the more important things this week, they got their leader into place quickly, so we're not meandering through to September with that uncertainty. But with the Bank of England tonight onwards, people are actually going to see actions that are going to determine where the UK economy is going to be going forward and what shape it's going to be in terms of its actual structure.
It had that and has that enviable clearing reputation as much as practical benefit as a financial services hub. Hammond has said we must ensure access to the EU single market for financial services continues. So he's pulled that one out almost as top of the list, just to, I suppose, underscore that there have been murmurings, I think, from France even, by the central bank governor there, that they would need a separate agreement to continue the clearing out of London. That seems altogether extraordinary.
I think, our clients talk a lot of nervousness over there at the moment. It's just, as Tony touched on, uncertainty is really at the heart of the issue. So I think the speed response is trying to give some assurance that it'll be, back to business as quickly as possible.
There's one key back to business policy that was put out there by the outgoing Chancellor George Osborne over tax. It looks as if that one survives, but on other key budgetary reforms, saying at this point the approach on the deficit was right in 2010. Now we're entering a new phase for the economy. So that would imply a lightening of the focus on austerity. Would you agree with that?
Well, most definitely. If they're in a brave new world, they have to find ways, one, ensuring they keep business. One way of doing that, of course, is lower the corporate tax rate, but also as well going forward, convince people that they have a longer-term plan to deliver this gradual changeover from being part of the EU to being on their lonesome again. Which, on their lonesome again, I say that, they'll have agreements with Europe. France and all these other guys might talk as much as they like about you're on your own, see you later, mate, but the trade flows between both these are too large for them to mess around with cannibalising those, because if they do, they kill off their own economic growth.
Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister here, Tony Abbott, today, and tweeting a photo of himself with one Boris Johnson, saying we are best friends, the UK and Australia. Is that a priority? Do you see it, that relationship is attended to and even finessed? Or do we take a back seat? Are we sort of last in line, to use the expression, versus first in line on key kind of even market entries? So for talent that wants to go over, even go beyond a 2-year work visa, what might you be pushing for on that front?
London is a mecca for talent, and a lot of people forge their careers by spending 4 or 5 years in that environment. And I think it's an opportunity for Australia to work out a tighter relationship there in terms of how talent's mobilised and moved across. And whilst UK was very focused on Europe, to a certain degree, it was actually tough for really strong Australians and Kiwis to get over there into that market and compete. So there's an opportunity there if we work hard on it in this period while they're still settling up their path for the future.
Do you worry, though, that because Brexit is so vital for them, that they've set up a separate department and they've got a special new cabinet role for not Alan Duncan, his name escapes me actually, but there's another minister that's been brought in to run that negotiation. It's very apparent that that's of more importance than the likes of Liam Fox, who will continue trade negotiations with the likes of Australia and New Zealand, and Boris to do his global, foreign office activities. What do you worry about?
Two things there. First of all, obviously from a Brexit side, they've got to demonstrate they are doing something, because 52% of the population said they wanted them to do it. So they can't say, well, we'll forget about it, because that'll cause disruptions that'll mess around with their growth even more. The second thing is, turn from a broader trade story with Australia, we're a minnow compared to their contribution to us, and vice versa. We are much more aligned now to the Chinas and the Japans and the South Koreas of this world. That's our focus.
On that score, well, we're talking Japan after the break, but thoughts on what we could be doing more of to be, mission ready for that market. So pivot away from Europe, look the way of Asia, which of course it's very lazy to sort of scoop everyone up in the same pool. But where are the best opportunities as you identify them? What's hot?
Look, the emergence of the Chinese corporate power is definitely on the move. There's a lot of work that we're completing in the talent space is for Chinese originated organisations looking to set up in the Australian marketplace. I personally don't think there's enough businesses in the services sector as a whole that's focused on really maximising that opportunity.
Be it language skills,
it could be, it's your understanding in language terms, it's your understanding culturally of how Chinese organisations like to do business. It's an understanding of what they would like to do outside of China. And the businesses in Sydney and Melbourne that have embraced that are doing very well. It's an important channel and another route to market.
Okay. And if there was one thing that is almost a no-brainer that you could get underway with, what would jump out?
Bilingual capability. It's sort of
a glaring sort of omission.
Yeah, you need to have that ability to engage on that front.
Well, thank you for that. That's an education call to arms, if nothing else. Thank you, Simon. Appreciate it.